Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is a topic of how we can ease Black and Latino relations. So for this video, I'm going to explain in detail the specific thing we can do to make the tensions between Black and Latinos in the United States at least lower for that matter compared to how it is now, so both communities of people can live in relative harmony. It does not mean they have to be the best of friends, but can at least live decently amongst each other with dignity and respect towards each other without having gang wars and let alone possibly full-blown massive civil unrest for that matter. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So now I mentioned that, let's get started. So now let's get started with the first point for this video, the Black side, and later on I'll go to the Latino side. Okay, so the first thing when it comes to resolving the Black and Latino conflict is that Black people are gonna have to start learning to not bully and harass people. So this is exactly, to put it bluntly, when it comes to the Black and Latino relations, which I'll get to what Latinos are gonna have to do better. As well, since I'm a very critical person who's critical of everybody. I'm not someone who just hears something and just jumps to conclusions for that matter. And when it comes to this particular situation, this Black and Latino conflict, it is no different, okay? I'm going to keep it real with you, okay? Anybody who's Black, okay, especially a Black person who grew up in a rough neighborhood or even somewhat rough. Like for me, I'm Canadian. I grew up in Scarborough, okay? Scarborough compared to places like Compton, LA, Dade County, and any American hood does not compare, at least to the worst hoods in America. But it's still pretty bad, okay? That's one thing I can say for certain for that matter, okay? But even then, when it comes to an experience I've had there, I've learned quite a lot about Black people. Okay, at least the Black people who are hood ignorant type Black people. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, okay? A lot of hood Black people know how to start shit with people. A lot of them know how to bring people down, start fights for no reason, bully you, terrorize you, taunt you, and so on and so forth, and just know how to bring out the absolute worst side of you. Anyone who's pretty much grown up in the hood, or even left the hood for that matter, whether they're still there or not, probably has that side of them where you can literally have one moment be happy, next moment you can be completely pissed about something, okay? In other words, going 0 to 100, okay? That's how life is like in the hood. There's a lot of people who know how to bring out the worst in people, and the fact that most people who even people who left the hood for that matter have that way, are those type of people, is a sign that they're from the hood, because a lot of people in the hood know how to bring out the worst in people. A lot of people in the hood, let's keep it real, as I was getting at before, are Black, okay? So what I think us Black people are going to have to do to help resolve the issue is we're going to have to start holding the Black people who love to bully people and harass people accountable, okay? We also have to hold the racist Latino street gang members accountable, which is exactly what I'm going to get to for part 2 of this video. But on the real though, we have to start holding the Black people in our community who like to go around causing problems accountable, okay? Because the story is not two-sided like I would have imagined, especially growing up it was, okay? The truth of the matter is a lot of Black people, from what I've heard from a lot of Latinos, you know, for that matter, from what I'm hearing, and I've even heard some Black people say the same thing too, like to bully Latinos, okay? They like to make fun of them, call them illegal aliens, you know, or even just straight up aliens, let alone make fun of their names and their culture. And they always like to they always have that way of acting, and when you respond, even if you don't say anything racist, they run off and complain that, oh, you said something racist to me or something like that. Or they might say, oh, let's fight, and then all of a sudden 10, 20 people pop up out of nowhere and they jump you. That is the shit that goes on in the hood. And that is the truth of the matter when it comes to Black, a lot of Black people for that matter who live in the hood, okay? A lot of them know how to start friggin' shit with people and bring out the worst in people, which of course they make up a minority. I am more certain than not for that matter, because I think the majority of Black people are smart enough not to do that type of stuff and realize what the repercussions of that could be. But a lot of Black people in general do not hold those small percentage of people accountable, okay? That is the truth of the matter when it comes to this particular subject, okay? They don't hold a small percentage of black people who are like that, who do say racist shit and start racist shit, um, you know, you know, with other groups of people, let alone racial conflicts to be more exact. We don't hold those people accountable. We let them carry on that way, and we let them carry on and do all that bullshit for that matter, and they get away with it, okay? Besides, the truth of the matter is, especially since a lot of those people, of course, no surprise, since most of this stuff happens in America, how when it comes to the African American community, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of y'all African Americans, I'm gonna be upfront, especially as a black Canadian, and I'm not saying a majority are like this, okay? I wanna make this clear. I'm not saying a majority, but a lot of you guys really know how to bother and should have terrorized other communities of people, okay? Especially in the hood. Just because the thing I've actually realized, especially being a black Canadian, and even just what I've heard, same thing happens to black British people, even Korean people, and Africans. Oh Lord, let's not even go there. The thing is, a lot of black people, African Americans to be more exact, love to make fun of other African denominations, okay? And that's the reason why I'm kind of suspicious when I hear the whole story that somehow it's just one-sided when it comes to this conflict. Because if you're going to terrorize your own freaking people, which I know they used to give another group of people, specifically Haitians, a very hard time, then how can I really take you guys really freaking seriously when you guys always try to act like you are all a victim, especially when it's of another group of people like Latinos are? That's what I'm trying to say. As I said before, and I'm not going to repeat it again because there's no point in. I've already explained what my feelings are, what I think about the majority of African Americans when it comes to this way of thinking. I already expressed it, so I'm not going to repeat it again. So you already get the point of how I feel, okay? So that's the truth of the matter, okay? And that's what needs to be done. We need to stop playing this freaking game as a black community as a whole, specifically when it comes to this black versus Latino conflict, that, oh, we're always a victim. We need to realize that some people in our community like to start fucking fights with other people for no reason as a whole, okay? And that's the truth of the matter that needs to be confronted. Us black people in general, a lot of us do that stuff, and then they do that stuff and then they run off, and then they complain, oh, well, not all of us, oh, well, and this and that. But you guys fully start a conflict in general. Besides, the truth of the matter, since us black people overall are the least racist group of people, we need to realize that that's a very small percentage, and we need to do our best to kind of hold those people accountable so they cannot continue causing problems. So we can at least kind of get along better with other groups of people, and that's what I have to say for my first point, okay? Now, the second thing I want to get across when it comes to this whole black Latino conflict is, of course, the Latino side. And this is where, of course, I'm going to speak my opinions about the racist Latino street gang members, let alone the racist Latinos. Is that what Latinos need to also realize, though, is that Latinos need to realize that they need to start really learning to not really, for that matter, say racist stuff about black people behind the scenes, and they need to start learning, in all honesty, to be quite honest with you, that you cannot judge a whole group of people based on the actions of a small percentage, especially when you live in places like Compton, LA, and this and that. A lot of things you see on a day-to-day basis, that's not how mainstream society is like at all. And that is the truth of the matter. That's not mainstream society. That's not how actually life is supposed to be in America, let alone any developed nation for that matter, okay? That's not normal. And they need to start learning that you cannot just hold every group of people, or a whole group of people responsible for a small percentage. Some blacks do start shit, but that's a small percentage of the black community, okay? Those people, most of those people themselves are probably outcasts themselves from a lot of other black people, because no one wants to hang around people who just start fights for no reason with another group of people, okay? And most of those people are ignorant, okay? You don't call them the N-word, like the one ending in the R, especially that one. But at the same time, you also have to be smart enough to know you have to have better willpower and control. You can't just like, oh, I had one bad situation with a few black people, or I'm going to say all you guys are like that. We need to start confronting this bullshit, okay? And that's the truth that I'm trying to get for that matter, okay? So that's pretty much the points I make for this video. I might do another video like this in the future, but either way, this is all I have to say for this video at least. And I just want to let people know in my for the closing of the video, okay, that this is not a message of trying to pull off some bullshit. Black and Latinos are allies. We're one people and all that type of stuff. Black, brown pride, man. They used to hear. What this is about is being able for people to live in greater harmony with each other, and actually relatively get along fairly well. And even if they don't get along, they at least respect each other and each other's boundaries. That's what the point of this video is. I'm not trying to say Black and Latinos, we have to be like how we were in the 1980s or 1990s, where we all got along together, especially in like hood areas and stuff. You don't have to do that. What you want to do, what's most important, more like in this world, is that people are not having feuds with each other, especially racialized feuds. Okay, and that's the message I'm trying to get for this video. And that's all I have to say since my time is up. Bye.